Well, Douglas Barry is a former executive at the US-China Business Council, the adjunct professor at George Washington University, and the author of a book about relations between the two countries.
The plane load of CEOs that accompanied President Trump yesterday when he arrived in Beijing is testimony to the fact that there are a lot of people in the United States and in China who are interested in seeing this relationship succeed and improve beyond what it's been the last few years.
You're talking there about the business leaders that he brought with him. Now, President Trump said before he went into this visit that he was going to urge President Xi to open up China to American companies. How realistic do you think that is?
Not very realistic. So, first of all, he has to define what it means to open up to U.S. businesses. All those people, the CEOs from Apple and from other companies, large international companies, already are doing business in China, have been doing it for some time, certainly know the restrictions and know where it's sort of difficult to do business, the market access part of it, but somehow have managed to make money anyway. On the other hand, there are other issues such as the limits on what the U.S. can do, the overwhelming focus now on national security. Does that extend to potato chips and other kinds of things that have little relevance to national security? And what sorts of opportunities will be there in the future? There's a couple of big hedge fund CEOs along on the trip. They've had long relationships with China. And in fact, they're kind of horse whisperers to Trump. In other words, they are telling him to back off from the hawkish view that he had and that some of his advisors have. And so one role that they're playing is to try to change the dynamic in the administration so that it is not so hostile to China.
You were saying that many of the CEOs understand the difficulties here. What are those difficulties?
One of the sticking points for Elon Musk, for example, is that even though he has a big investment in China that has paid, I think, very good dividends to him, the market share of Tesla has shrunk to less than 5% now. And that basically means that Chinese EVs have, in the last few years, exploded in terms of sales, and now they're also reaching other markets, not the United States, but Europe, certainly. And so it's been very difficult for Elon to hold on to his market share there. But there are other commodities and products, there's thousands of them, that don't have that kind of dynamic, and that China should be open to. So it is it's a difficult, complicated situation. This idea of a board of trade that was floated by the U.S. side is interesting because it means then that there would be in place a formal mechanism through which U.S. government officials and private sector people could interact and hopefully create the kind of climate that would make it more conducive to more business deals of the sort that those CEOs and Donald Trump are there to facilitate.